Hello, everybody. It is time. Oh, we don't need these right now. It is time for NASPA Tonight. Thank you for joining us. My name is Josh Greenway.
My name is Jackson Smylie.
This is all your Scrabble news in 25 minutes or less.
We've got to start the clock.
That's right. Start up the clock. We've got a packed schedule tonight. This past weekend was the big Canadian Nationals. And so what we thought we would do is we would bring in an expert to help us break down the Canadian Nationals.
And not just any expert, someone who even played in the Canadian National Scrabble Championship and came third place.
Third place.
Very good finish. Welcome to Josh Sokol.
Yeah, let me bring him in here. Hold on a sec. Let's put him there and put the logo down there.
And say hello, Josh.
Welcome, Josh. Josh
hello,
Jr.,
friends.
How are you? Wait, I did this wrong.
Great.
We're supposed to be up in the corner. He's supposed to be here. That makes more sense. Let's get rid of the watermark. Okay.
Beautiful.
Here we go. So, boys, we're talking about the Canadian National Scrabble Championships. It took place this last weekend in downtown Toronto. Both of you guys played. As far as I know, neither of you won. I worked the event. I was providing some social media updates and doing a lot of filming and putting interviews together and stuff like that. But really, I want to hear from you guys because you were in the thick of the action.
It was intense.
Go ahead.
It was really fun. It sucks to not win, but it still sucks to not play. So I'm glad I played. I came in 10th. I would have.
What's that worth? What is 10th?
10th was worth $100. If I'd won my last game, I would have taken Josh's spot in third place.
Well, woulda, coulda, shoulda. So $100.
Exactly.
How much did it cost to enter?
75, something like that. And Josh,
all right, so you made a little bit of money.
I did, very slightly.
But you probably spent I saw you go for Thai food and stuff, so you probably broke even. But let's talk about the man over here, the man I like to call Josh Jr., Josh Sokol.
How much did you win?
Well, first of all, before we get to that question, Josh Sokol is the chair of the Canadian Committee. He was integral to planning this event and helping to put it on, as well as the staff, of course, super talented staff headed by John Chu, Mad Palazzo, who is, I believe, watching. I want to say hi to a couple people, Jesse Matthews, Zev, Heidi, everybody who's watching. Thanks very much. Josh, give us your feeling overall on that tournament.
It was run very well, as it always is run. There's nothing much to complain about, really. The committee did a great job in trying to plan the event, trying to make it as good as possible for as many people as possible. We hit a lot of speed bumps along the way, unfortunately. For example, we would want to include CSW, Collins, the International Lexicon, in the Canadian Nationals, as there are many players that use that lexicon primarily. However, we were unable to do that.
Well, listen, this is a little inside baseball, but let's face it, that's who our audience is here. So can you give us any insight as to what happened with Collins? Because it seemed like for a little while there was going to be Collins, and then there wasn't. Any behind-the-scenes kind of intelligence you can give us on that?
Yes. So at first we were totally like in the dark. We didn't think that Collins would ever be involved in a Hasbro Canada event, as Hasbro Canada has a deal with Merriam-Webster. Merriam-Webster is used for the North American Dictionary alone, not the Collins Dictionary. But we received word from John Chu that it would be very, very likely that there would be Collins inclusion this year, and this was a surprise to all of us.
So what happened? How did we go from there to what we got?
It became more and more complicated. More and more things came up on John's end that ended up spelling the end for the idea. That's a lot of ends.
So it sounds like you're not allowed to say what it is. So it sounds like to me.
The idea was shot down. The idea was shot down by basically the higher ups at the organization that we play with, because the idea of having a hybrid format, which was what was suggested in the end by John Chu, was not going to work out because it was too innovative. It was very complicated,
if I remember correctly.
So do you think that there's a chance that Collins will be included in the future?
Absolutely. One of the main reasons that it was not included was for lack of planning.
Okay.
I see. Okay. Well, and since your job is to help put this event on every year, we'll leave it to you to come through on that promise. So let's move on from Lexicon. We want to put a question out there to people watching. I want to say hi to Robin Gates and Zev. Hopefully your computer will unfreeze. That will happen on an individual basis based on your Facebook and your local internet connection. Jim Hahn, I don't know you, Jim, but welcome. Thanks for being here. I see Sam Southern. Do you see people on the page?
Not
No.
yet. I see
All right,
it on the
that's
group. Okay. So the question we wanted to ask everybody is, where do you want to see the CNSC held next year or next time it's held? Because so far, I think all 10 times it's been in Toronto.
That's
which
correct.
Seems a bit unfair for people coming from Vancouver or Calgary or out from the East Coast. So where would you like to see the CNSC?
Well,
next time?
my impression is the reason it's always held in Toronto is because the Hasbro offices are in Toronto.
Yeah.
That's where John Chu lives. That's like the center of the Scrabble universe in Canada. Although I'm really looking forward to. Have you guys ever been out west, like Calgary or Vancouver,
I have
for
not.
a tournament?
Josh has, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've been to Vancouver many times. To see it held in Vancouver would be fantastic. I think everybody and their moms would like to have this tournament in a different location. Even John Chu himself. Zip, not saying anything.
Okay, well, so that's the thing. If you can, we definitely have a vote for Vancouver there in the comments. But anybody who's watching, if you have a dream city for Canadian Nationals to be held, why don't you throw that up in the comments?
And let's keep it in Canada. Let's not have a Canadian Nationals in Europe or anything.
That's a good idea. So what we want to talk about here, boys, how are we doing on time? Okay, time's ticking away.
18 minutes left.
So let's cover some quick storylines from the event. The first one that we want to talk about was Heidi Robertson. You want to set this up?
Heidi Robertson initially was not going to play. She was going to come to Toronto and annotate the event, and she was, I think, just out of the qualification by rating. And then the night before the event, someone dropped out, and she just snuck in at the last minute, and she ended up going 9-9, gaining like 80 points of rating. So she had an amazing event. I'm sure she's glad she qualified.
Congratulations to Heidi. There's also a video of Heidi in an interview. There's an interview with each of you guys. You can find that on the YouTube page. If you Google NASPA, like if you go to YouTube and use that search bar and Google NASPA Scrabble, you can find all of those videos under CNSC 2018. What's the next storyline? I know what it is. It's Andre. It's my buddy Andre. Who's been seeing his rating go up, and it seems it went up quite a bit again today.
He just
won this weekend.
He won the Montreal tournament, Division B, a couple weeks ago to get a new peak rating, and then just this tournament, I think he went 10-8. I want to say, great tournament.
Explosion.
He hit 1,500 for the first time. So congratulations, Andre, on that.
That's pretty good. I mean, look, you guys are in the
really impressive.
Played on
He was up there for a very long time. He was.
I swear, everything Josh Sokol says sounds sarcastic to me. So. But I appreciate the enthusiasm. You clarified that. So congratulations to Andre.
And our next story is Matthew Tunnicliffe.
Go ahead, yes.
Oh my God.
Would you like to tell us the story of Matt Tunnicliffe?
I can't believe what happened. Okay, so we're all math nerds, right? Maybe some of us are not. But Matt Tunnicliffe went 12-6. And his spread was an absolute 0, neutral, no spread whatsoever. That means all of his games, the total differential of all of his games ended up at 0. That's insane.
He scored the exact same number of points as his opponent over 3 days of Scrabble.
That's pretty crazy.
Unreal.
Now, is it more unreal? It's unreal because it's absolute 0, not because it's so low. Is that correct?
But also because it's low. You'd expect
Matt Tunnicliffe.
And Matt Tunnicliffe. You'd expect him to go 12-6 plus 600 plus 700, not 12-6 plus 0.
So what's more shocking, Matt's results or my last nationals where I went 19, 11, and 1 and was negative spread?
Well,
Matt's results.
All right. All right, very good. I'm just throwing that in there to talk about
Okay,
myself.
let's go.
Next storyline. Let's talk about Chris Sykes.
Chris Sykes, he started off 5-5. I saw him moping a bit. He was pretty sad, like I was when I was 4-4. So after he was 5-5, next thing you see is he's in like third place at 12-5, and he plays Eric Tran for the finals. If he had won his last game, he would have made the finals and played John Stardom in the finals. Unfortunately for him, Chris did not win that final game, but it's pretty amazing that he went from completely out of contention at 5-5 to playing for the finals at 12-5, which was pretty cool.
What a Swiss gambit.
Swiss gambit, yeah.
Insane.
Got some good spread from that.
Hey, by the way, I just flipped over to Facebook on my channel, and we've got Eric Tran is in the house.
Eric, so, I think that's where the conversation.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get to Eric in just a second.
Who's
and we've
Eric
got
Tran?
Eric. Look it up on Google. I think
we'll get to this in a second. We also have some other suggestions for locations: Ottawa, Calgary, Hawaii. Vancouver, Calgary. Anyway, thanks everybody for commenting in there. Keep those votes coming. Next storyline: Fern Lindsay. Josh, you wanted to say something about Fern.
Fern, her performance was outstanding. Her spread was like in the top 2-3 for the entire time of maybe the third day. She was decimating people, completely demolishing her opponents.
And if I'm not mistaken,
the highest average score of the whole tournament.
I think she had the highest average, which is pretty crazy. So that was amazing. By the way, Jim Hahn still wants to know how much money Josh Jr. won.
Come on, Josh Jr. How much for third place?
I believe it was 1,000. I have not received my money yet. So
unbelievable. Is that the most you've ever won in a Scrabble tournament?
But yes, absolutely. Yes.
Sweet. And what are you going to do with all that loot?
Play more Scrabble.
All right. Sounds good. The next storyline is John Stardom. John Stardom made the finals. He started off the tournament exceptionally hot. He started off 8-0 and basically maintained first place through about 16 rounds, I think, right around there.
Because you always expect someone who starts really well to taper off at some point. That's like how it always goes. So
that's the reverse Swiss.
Yeah, the reverse Swiss gambit. Right? You go 7-0, then you just get destroyed. But he kept it up, and he was always in first place the entire tournament. So it was pretty cool to see him make the finals from that. And especially because he's a bit of an underdog. His rating was a lot lower. He was seeded, I'm not sure, something in the low teens, I think. Okay. So I know. Incredible performance. Yeah,
and made the finals. Who did he make the finals against?
Some dude from Calgary named Eric Tran. I think he's in the chat right now.
Eric, if you're in the chat, give us a wave or give us a comment or something. Kenji is on the show. Shout out to Kenji. And Matt wants to hold the CNSC in Cuba, which I think would be great.
It'd be fun. Our next story is
Eric Tran. Eric Tran. We already set it up.
Happens to be the winner of the Canadian Nationals. He faced John Stardom in the finals. Congratulations to Eric. Let's give him a round of applause.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a best of 5 finals, so 18 games. Those were the guys with the 2 best records, and then they faced off on the Monday in a best of 5, and it went to all 5 games. Extremely close.
And it was for $7,000. Second place, $2,500.
What did you say? No, $7,000. A very generous prize fund. Josh, as the head of the Canadian committee, how does a prize fund the total prize fund was $12,500. Where does all that money come from?
It comes from our saying yes to Hasbro on every occasion.
Well, I'll take it for that prize fund. So Eric played a phenomenal finals. He won on the very last move, as we'll look at later in more detail. As our clock is running down as well, we only have 11 minutes remaining.
Why don't we get into that now? Let's see how this works out here, boys. Let me get.
Then we should keep the other.
To board 1.
Oh.
Does that show what you need to?
Yeah, sure.
Let's keep Josh in the frame. Okay, how about that? That gives us part of the board.
Go back to the other the initial setup we had. The initial setup, like this one right there. To the right. The one right beside it. There you go.
Yeah, but then you can't see the whole thing.
Never mind. Go back.
Okay, this is what we're here, right? So what do you want to show here, guys? You guys did a great job doing some commentary in the room. as the thing was going on. So what do you have to say?
So
what are you trying to point out
for this
here?
first position, we wanted to highlight two amazing finds that John Stardom had. This was in round 4 of the finals, so he was 1 and 2 at this point. As you'll see on the bottom right side of the board, he found E48, which I think was 102 points, paralleling Nan to make Nana and hooking We with a T to make Wet.
Smylie.
So
Whoa,
Canada.
hold on. I'm sorry, boys.
Here we go.
Okay, now we can all talk
Okay.
over the full board.
So what we wanted to say was that he found this amazing play of E48. We didn't even see it for the first couple minutes when we were looking at that rack. We were just looking at like hooking a bedded. We were just looking at some random plays and we were like, oh my God, it's E48. And he found it, which was an amazing find. It really sealed the game for him. So we can go over to the next.
Well, anything to add, Josh Jr.?
I think he saw it before any of us saw it, to be honest. To be completely honest, we saw the possibility, but we just did not see that it fit with that E. That was incredible.
Really amazing. Here's the next board.
Position. As you can see in the top left of the board, John played NAE blank HING. So he played his tiles to the G in Gower, and he hooked the A onto bedded to make a bedded. So that was an amazing find. The blank is a T, naving. I think it means nothing. Just another amazing bingo find by John, which just shows the kinds of plays they were finding in the finals.
And Josh Jr., anything to add there?
That was very sick. It totally sealed the game for him.
I thought you told him about that word or something. Did you say something like that during live coverage?
No, actually, what ended up happening is we saw his other bingo there, Havening, before we saw anything.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
I had played Havering in my final game, and I was just trying to make sure that Havening and Havering were both words.
I see. Okay, thanks for that. And now we're going to show one more position. That's the right position, right? Yeah, here we go.
This is the final board from Game 5. This is what decided the entire tournament. This is what won Eric Tran $7,000 right here. And Josh, would you like to take us through the end game? Because we had a pretty spectacular end game, which was the most intense way to end the Canadian National Championship.
Nobody knew what was going on here. So both players had absolutely horrible racks. I believe John had five consonants that didn't score a thing, and he had to find a way to play out in 2 turns. And he attempted to do that by playing a Tane, keeping his D and his T, setting up Tad through the A and a Tane. And unfortunately, what happened is Eric ended up blocking that with VAR. And here's where it gets insane. John had another outplay. He could play Adit from M1. The T was not there, Eta and T. That's what he ended up playing because he missed Adit, and Adit would have won him the game, even if he had gone over, I believe, 2 minutes. He was down to 20 seconds on time, and he was unfortunately incapable of finding that under the pressure. So what ended up happening is Eric was able to utilize his J to score, and score enough to win. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
Nobody knew what was going on.
I was in the room with you guys, and there's definitely a lot of excitement, a lot of shock, I think, but also a lot of understanding. Like everyone in the room sort of seemed to know that an outplay was possible, but that's because there were 20, 25 people there brainstorming ways that he could go out. Him looking at clock time is really tough, and I think probably everybody watching has experienced that kind of pressure-filled situation. So anyway, just an incredible end to the game. And really hats off to both of those guys. I mean, they couldn't be nicer. After the finals, I spent a good half an hour with each one of them, interviewing them. Again, you can find those videos on YouTube, NASPA Scrabble. And they're just fantastic guys. So as Matt suggested in the comments, and we were planning to, a big note here is Eric is donating $2,000 of his $7,000 winnings to the Ottawa Food Bank, which is just I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Would you ever do that, Jackson?
I would never do such a thing.
All
right. It was great.
Now, we've had a lot of people, and Eric has thrown something in the comments. He said he was already planning to donate some money. Given the way the finals went and the last end game, he thought it would be fitting to donate to a charity of John's choice. I think that's pretty amazing. We asked a question at the beginning of the show, which is where you want to see the next Canadian Nationals. Hi, Kevin. Kevin's just joined the show. Let's talk about some rumors. There are some rumors here. I don't know anything about this.
So when I was in Shediac this last year, Shediac, New Brunswick, for their now annual Scrabble tournament, I was talking to John Chu about it, and he was saying that Shediac is interested in hosting the Canadian National Championship someday. I don't think there's any official anything official signed yet or anything, but I know that Shediac is very interested. And Shediac has put up money to sponsor the tournaments they hold there. They put up $2,000, I think, at least each time.
You have no idea how exciting this is.
Shediac is an amazing tournament, great city.
Well, let me cut in here. So you said you don't know anything official. Josh, do you have any official insights? What are you hearing about this rumor?
Rumors. But you know what? Very often rumors in NASPA come out true at some point. So I really think that this has a very good chance of happening. Shediac donates so much money for their tournament, and the biggest issue with not having the tournament in Toronto would be not getting the funding from Hasbro, not getting the donation from Hasbro, and that's a very big possibility if we're not holding it in Toronto. So if we held it in Shediac and they donated their own money to hold this tournament, that would be incredible. The city is breathtakingly beautiful, guys.
So you know what I think we should do then, boys, given the love that we have here, is all three of us should go to Shediac this year.
I'm already on the list. My name's there.
Yeah, I'm not on the list, but I'm going to. Let's go to Shediac.
For anyone who's watching, I highly recommend. I cannot recommend Shediac enough as a tournament. Not only is it sponsored, so you get some good prizes, it's just a great city you must visit. You can eat a lot of lobster. Josh went this past year with me as well.
What were your highlights, Josh? You said it was beautiful there. What else?
No,
do you like lobster?
No, absolutely not. My favorite part about Shediac was just the people, because they speak this insane mix between English and French. And like living in Montreal, I thought I knew what it was to speak Franglish. These guys are crazy. It's so much fun being bilingual and trying to understand. Like, I was talking to someone at a Tim Hortons. We were both speaking French, but we didn't understand each other at all. It was so cool.
Okay, so we're making a plan here. We're all going to go to Shediac.
We are.
Maybe we should do a broadcast from there. We're running out of time here.
We're low on time.
I want to say a great big thank you to Josh Jr. for adding his expertise here. Do you want to stick with us through these last couple of topics, Josh? Do you have time?
Let's go. Let's run through them.
So the next thing we want to talk about is our tournament talk, which we're going to do every week, hopefully.
That's right.
This weekend we have...
Josh's face is covered. Let's fix this.
Okay.
There we go.
Now my face is covered. All right, let's keep going.
We have a couple major events this weekend. The first one is Durham, which I'm extra excited about because my flight to Durham leaves on Thursday morning. So that's run by Joey Krafchick.
Yeah, I'm super excited because it's a Joey the K joint.
It's great. Right? And what's extra special about this one is that he's doing a match play style tournament. He was going to do the whole thing match play style. Not enough people joined. So match play means instead of having everyone play the same number of games, you do like a single elimination bracket where each round you play someone in a best of 11 series. That was the plan. We're going to do that as an early bird instead, where we do 2 best of 7s. And we have 4 people in the early bird and just do a mini bracket where we narrow it down. So I'm super excited for that. It's his also Southeastern Scrabble Classic.
That's right.
I think it's called that every year. So I've never been before. You've been before, right?
No, I have not.
Josh Sokol, you've been, right?
I have never been to Durham. No, I was only in Atlanta. That's the closest I've been.
Well, yeah, but that was
the tournament, the Southeast.
Yeah, for sure. So bring up the contenders. Here, what we're going to do with tournament talk. Oh, I see what I've done here. What we're going to do with tournament talk is we are going to Jackson and I are going to make a prediction. We're going to leave you out of this one, Josh. But we're going to make a prediction on the winners and see how we do next week. What's the top of the field?
So the top of the field, we have David Gibson as the top seed. We have me as the 2nd seed, Joe Edley 3rd seed, Avery Mojica 4th seed, and Joey Krafchick as the 5th seed. I'm going to go ahead and predict Joey Krafchick's going to win this one. What about you?
Oh, really? You're not predicting yourself?
Not myself and not even Gibson. What do you think?
Okay, well, I'm not predicting you either. I am going to, you know what? What the hell? Number 1 seeds have to win sometime. So I'll predict Gibson.
He's won before. He's won a couple tournaments.
Let's talk about, we're now into overtime.
So
we're going to get penalized 10 points per minute. But let's talk about Manhattan. Do you want to call up Manhattan?
Yes. Manhattan, we have their monthly one-day coming up this weekend.
Right.
And
I also want to say hi to Seth. Seth is on, and we're literally using Seth's amazing website, crosstables.com. Everybody who's watching knows what this is.
We have Joel
Sherman. Okay, give it to me.
We have Joel Sherman, Jeremy Hall, Matt Graham, Sal Piro, the top 4 seeds. I'm going to go ahead.
Cesar?
He's not there yet. I'm going to go ahead and say
Cesar's watching, I think. So, Cesar, what's the deal? You're not on the list.
If Cesar plays, I obviously
just asked people to go. He just asked.
It was a different tournament.
Yeah, he was going to like those little one days or something.
So
right?
I think Joel Sherman's going to get this one. 2002 champion.
Okay, so you're going Sherman, and I'll go away. I'll go with Hall.
Jeremy Hall. Okay.
Jeremy Hall.
I don't know Hall that. I think I met him, but I don't know him that well. But that's my pick. We'll look back on these picks. Now, Josh Jr., which of these tournaments would you rather attend?
Durham or Manhattan? Probably Manhattan, just because my hometown is New York City.
New York City.
To visit. I love to visit. It's happening. It's happening. Love it.
Okay. Just a couple of things, and then we're going to get out of here because we don't want to have the whole broadcast eliminated if we go 10 minutes overtime. So here's the deal. If you are a Toronto player, speaking of Toronto players, Jason Ubika just joined. Jason, right on. I love Jason. Here's what we want to say. Oh, Toronto Summer Club is going to be open all summer. I'm going to be directing. Jackson's going to be doing some directing. Is that right?
We'll see. We'll talk.
Yeah, we're going to talk after this.
Earl Bales Park. So if you're in the Toronto area, please come out on Wednesday nights. I will never be there, but we'll see Josh.
No, you'll be there. But we do some fun stuff there. If you haven't voted in the advisory board elections, please do so. And register for a tournament, for God's sakes. I mean, these directors put on these tournaments, and people wait till the last minute. We all got to wait for Cesar to jump in there and put his name on the list. What the hell? Just sign up for a tournament. It's fun to play Scrabble. We got a little bit of time left. I just wanted to run a couple of things by you. Number one, I saw a mystery player at the Canadian Nationals. I didn't know who it was, but they were in full Unabomber mode. Who is this?
That is my friend Bryn Bowen. He is a newish player. He's taking it very seriously in this photo.
He thinks he's at the World Series of Poker.
He does, yeah.
Guys, I have to say something about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did that because I did that in Montreal. I'm pretty sure.
All right.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
All right. Well, it's a good look. Now, I also have a question. I have a question for the audience. You're going to have to hop on comments really fast. Who do you think would win in a fight between Josh Jr. and Jackson?
Oh, I think
I know
who will win.
They need fight.
Like a fight.
Like a wrestling.
Physical fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, there's some video evidence here of a test of strength. This is the two of you arm wrestling, and it looks like Josh Sokol took it, and you rolled onto your back into a submissive position.
Come on, Jackson.
What's going on?
You can hear someone saying, "Come on, Jackson," in the background. And I thought that would be a fun thing to share.
We'll have a rematch next time we are in the same city.
Okay, I want to say thank you for you guys for joining us. I want to say thanks to the audience for everybody coming out here and watching the show. Here we'll go back to Bryn for a second. And what we're gonna play out with is we are gonna play out with Jackson's interview, if I can find it, from the Canadian Nationals. Here it is. This was recorded very early on in the tournament, and Jackson explains his love of Scrabble. And seriously, we're trying to raise the video game, the video space game of NASPA. What I mean by that is just make better content. And I think we took some baby steps in that direction this time. So thanks both of you for participating. You're going to get to see Jackson's video. If you go to the YouTube page, you can see Josh Sokol's video, which has some funny stuff in it. What was the word you played, Josh?
Oh, gosh. Chicharrone.
All right. That's going to do it. That's going to do it. We hope you all join us next week. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Jackson.
Thank you.
Let's go out with this interview. And until next week, keep playing Scrabble.
So long.
My name is Jackson Smylie, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. What I love about Scrabble is that it's so exciting every time I play it. It's a different experience. There's so many different aspects of it to master. It's competitive, torturous at times. Everything about Scrabble is just amazing. What I love about Canadian Nationals is that it really feels like a championship. There's other national tournaments that are really intense, but Canadian Nationals is top 52 players, $7,000 to the winner. It's just definitely the Canadian Championships, and you get all the best players once every couple of years. It's the most exciting tournament of the year. It's just the best. My highest scoring word ever was Sleazoid for 284 points. You spell that Sleazoid. Outside of Scrabble, I am very into music, and I play a lot of piano, and I sing a lot in a choir. What a note is when it's played, so that is very helpful in all things music. Ever since I was a child, I've always known I've had perfect pitch. Tested me and my sister, and we both were able to identify notes, and they're like, "Oh, you have perfect pitch."